Spiritual Sunday, and as many of us know, the whole point of this is raising our consciousness, which is part of our affirmation we'll do here in a minute. So let's read just a couple things that somebody telepathically gave me the page number. So Karen's book, Simple Light. And so I'm going to read you three of them since they're short, and it actually fits very well today. She says, the Kabbalists have known for thousands of years there's another universe out there, a parallel universe. While we exist in and observe our physical environment, there's a simultaneously existing, flawless universe. A universe that knows nothing of chaos, illness, and suffering. We are vessels of the light force of the Creator, of God. If we allow Him to enter our hearts, we must also be prepared to use that which we have been given to warm the hearts of others. Remember that you are the most precious thing the Creator has put on earth. Okay. Actually, it's coming up in 9 days will be the elevation day, we call it, of Karen. She left the world in what's called the 9th day of Leo. Wow, it's going on 4 years now. So very interesting that. So let's get started, and welcome to those of you who are online with us. So let's do our affirmation. The point of an affirmation is just not positive thinking, right? The first words are consciousness is everything. And so it can be either positive thinking, which is like hopeful, wishing, wanting God to do our bidding, sort of making the universe or the Creator our butler, right, our go-for. Or we can understand that consciousness is everything means how I think about myself, about others, about the world, the way the world works is going to determine my destiny. Because it's only what we think determines our actions. Nothing on the outside determines our actions. Nothing ever has, ever does, or ever will determine our behavior. It's our absolute free will to determine what we're going to do to respond to anything and everything comes our way. There are nice things come our way. Okay, so it's a little easier, so to speak, to respond nicely. But when the challenges show up, very rarely until we're really learning these details, do people really understand that it's their free choice how they're behaving. Because how do we know? And you and I do it the same thing. Just because we're learning this, we have improved ourselves, hopefully, or continue to improve ourselves, doesn't mean we're immune to the challenges of the world, nor as we're going to talk about that other voice in our head. So how do you know that we don't always take responsibility for what our responses are? In the simplest terms, all you have to do is hear yourself or hear somebody else say, they made me do it. They made me say it. What does that really mean? It means that that person in that moment gave their entire God-given ability to choose their destiny to the other person. So the other person said or did something mean, rotten, and nasty, and we just responded in the same way, mean, rotten, and nasty. We didn't control ourselves. We didn't pause for that moment of consciousness to decide, I don't want to be anything like that person. In that moment, they're being nasty. I don't want to be nasty in return because I'm a better person than that. Like Karen says, we're the most precious thing the Creator created, but we have to learn how to use more consciously our free will. So the point of this affirmation is really to engrave more and more in our consciousness, which is different than our brain, but wake up the consciousness of the light of our soul that's speaking from one side of our head versus the voice of our ego, self-centeredness, I don't know, whatever other name you want to give it, that voice that's lying to us that we're not capable, we're not good enough, we need to get back at that person because otherwise it's not going to work out well for us, etc. Those are all lies. But that's our choice, which we're going to talk about here as we talk about the Garden of Eden. So those of you online, here we have it here. For those of you here, let's just say it together, holding that consciousness, not only for us, but because we're on a spiritual internet with 8.5 billion people, we can impact 8.5 billion people this moment with this awakening of a higher level of consciousness that's already inside them. We're not injecting in people or trying to get into our emptiness, the light, the goodness, kindness, it's already there. Our job is to awaken it and express it. So let's say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Everybody says it, but you catch the difficult part? It's one small word makes that the most difficult thing probably for 8.5 billion people. All human beings. But of course, to your friends, family, loved ones, etc., we're willing to do a little more effort, be a little kind, a little forgiving. But what about the person as of today we're still holding resentment, anger, guilt, shame, whatever, jealousy of? Are we willing to be of greater love, kindness, and compassion to them? That's a question. And that's why, as we just did, we have to keep engraving and awakening in us the benefit for us. It's not just, there's no such thing in Kabbalah, what most people would call altruism. No such thing. No such thing. Doesn't mean we can't give with our full heart and all of our capability. But there is no such thing as giving only for the sake of giving without getting anything in return. And so on that note, let's go to the Garden of Eden, shall we? Or you want to stay here? We just read from Karen. There's the world that we see, the physical world of chaos, or there's the parallel universe of peace, harmony, and what we'll talk about today, the Garden of Eden. So which one do you want to be in? I can hear them out there all over the world louder than you guys. Where do you want to be? Okay, there we go. Good. So let's now talk about what is the Garden of Eden. Because many of you have taken classes before, many of you online have taken the classes. And you know that we believe, the Kabbalists teach us, the 5 books of Moses did take place. In other words, it's a real account of real people and let's call it historical events. But what they're really showing us, and that's the importance of Kabbalah, of the Zohar, is to unlock the code. Because yes, they did that, but just the same way, you know, okay, you always go to, let's say in the spy business, if they want to send a secret message, right? They're going to make it sound like just, you know, like, hi, how are you? I hope you're having a good day, whatever. But encoded in that paragraph is the secret message they're trying to get across. You follow me? So the Bible is written in that same way. Yes, it's true. There was a Garden of Eden. There was Adam and Eve. There was Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We did travel 40 years in the desert, all of that. But what they're really giving us, when you unlock it Kabbalistically, what is the technology of the spiritual realm? And if it's technology of the spiritual realm, it works for every human being on earth. Because just to emphasize again, there's only one thing in common to every person on earth. Only one thing, the soul. You can give your creator different names, Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, Buddha, God, Lord, whatever it is. You can give it any name you want, but there's one creator that created every single human being. And therefore, the operating system of the soul is universal. It's the same operating system in every human being. But just like your cell phone, if I'm calling, whatever, one of my friends, Joe Smith, do you now have to use your cell phone to call Joe Smith also? Is that a real question? You have to think hard on that. If I call Joe Smith, do you have to call Joe Smith? Thank you. Okay, thank you, Denise. Okay, all right. You don't have to. You have free will. But the operating system you use to call who you want, text who you want, or what have you, same operating system. So too the soul. No human being on earth, where it's the nice, kind, loving people like you and me, or meanwhile the people out there who are pure beings of light, but they're expressing their unfortunate, that egocentric, whatever adversarial voice in their head to do all the dastardly things. But they're still using the same technology. I mean, look at a computer. Here we're using it to reach people all over the world, bring them this wisdom, a spiritual awakening, unity, peace, and harmony. But there's also people, heaven forbid, go online, hack people and steal from people, try and defraud people, whatever. It's the same internet, same operating system. What makes a difference which way we use the operating system? Intention. Consciousness is everything. Everything. That's the way it goes. So we want to understand then this Garden of Eden. So before we got to the Garden of Eden, what still to this day, I've never heard anybody tell me that other people teach this, but the Zohar explains, and we learn from Kabbalah 1 forward, what happened before the Big Bang. You ask a scientist, there was the Big Bang, this big ball of matter was there, and then suddenly it exploded, and as it shattered out into whatever billions of pieces, you have the earth, you have the sun, you have the moon, you have everything in the cosmos. But nobody asks, Why did the Big Bang happen? What caused it? So, class 6 of Kabbalah 1, we explained the Big Bang. Because like you and me, we just said consciousness is everything. Our consciousness drives our action, good or bad. Consciousness, so before the action of the Big Bang, there had to be a consciousness existing before that. And that, without that piece, it's like trying to play chess and not know the purpose of chess. You can move the pieces, but you're not going to win, because if you don't know the point is to move to capture the king, you'll move around, but nobody's going to win if you don't know the purpose. So by understanding, which we'll talk about in brief terms, what happened in the endless world, without knowing that, look at the world. Why are people in chaos and confusion? Even you and me, the good people. Because we don't understand the system. Why? Because we see such paradox. The age-old paradox. Why do bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people? What's the real question? If there's a system of cause and effect, if there's a justice to the world, to the universe, then how can those unfair, unjust things happen? Consciousness is everything. So without understanding and seeing the whole picture, of course, if you look at the small picture of anything, it's going to be misconstrued, especially today. And forgive me, don't let me push your buttons, but even simple ways. This talk, right? If at the end of this, somebody wanted to do something not so nice to me, they take this, they cut out one little thing I said or a couple of the words, they put it together and make me sound like I said horrible things. Has that ever happened? Yeah. Right? You take things out of context. Okay, so the same way, people have come along to take things out of context, and therefore comes all the chaos of the world. So if you don't understand everything is cause and effect, and why do good or bad things happen to people? Because somehow, somewhere, this life, or this is another piece that's essential, past lives, without holding that big picture of this life and past lives, then of course you're going to be confused. Because if you only look at this life and you say, well, I know Joe Smith since he was 3 years old, nice, kind, wonderful person. Why does this horrible thing happen to Joe Smith? Well, because you don't see in a past life, Joe Smith accidentally or otherwise did something horrible to somebody else. It just took a whole lifetime to come back to him. Yes, of course it's all perception or lack of perception. How many people see their past lives? Very few. That's why we're learning, just to understand everything is cause and effect. But whether you know your past life or not or see it, what we're about to talk to is a piece of what we learn in the classes, how to just act today with the wisdom and the understanding of the big picture. So even if you don't remember what you did to Joe Smith 2 lifetimes ago that now he's doing back to you, doesn't matter. You can still handle it today, like we just said a minute ago. Do I have to be nasty like Joe Smith, or do I have free will not to be nasty like Joe Smith? I have free will. Not easy to practice that, because in the moment, Joe Smith pushes my button and I just want to smack him one. I don't know why I always say that. I haven't hit anybody in this lifetime, for reasons of my past life, which I could tell you, but not now. Anyway, so it's our choice. So in the endless world, it was very simple. Let's just call it the creator. So we'll distinguish it from what most people understand, God. The creator had this energy that we call the light force. Pure, 100% fulfillment, joy, peace, absolute bliss. The creator, as the Kabbalists say, wanted to bestow that, to give it to its creations. So it had to create something to receive that light. Is it okay so far? If I want to share some coffee out of my cup, can I pour it in your hands? And don't say yes, of course. No, if you have a cup, you need a vessel. I can pour it, and now I've shared the coffee with you, right? And now you can enjoy it. So in the endless world, the Creator created one vessel, one container that we call and understand as the soul of humanity. So there's only one. There's no 8.5 billion souls. There's one soul, like the internet, that extended out 8.5 billion ways and means, like the World Wide Web, to 8.5 billion terminals, whatever they call at the end, the iPhone, the pad, the whatever it is, you understand, like that, 8.5 billion people. but we're all collectively on one internet. So one vessel filled with the light of the Creator. Right there, that's free will. We are by creation the vessel, desire to receive absolute fulfillment from the light of the Creator. Is everyone clear on that? The light is the only source of lasting fulfillment because it, as I now call it, trying to get to the 21st century, is the original cryptocurrency. Right? Because light can become anything you want, not you want, anything that we need. Health, peace, love, cars, houses, the earth, the stars, the planets. The light becomes manifest as all physical materiality. In that similar way, a cryptocurrency is, as far as I know, nothing you really hold, but you have the ability to exchange it like money and buy things, etc. So you're following the idea? So the Creator filled us with light, cryptocurrency of the light. Now, the reason we came to Earth without going through all the details, because we'd be here for another 3 hours at least, we came here just to no longer act like the vessel. The vessel just receiving. The Creator said, look, I want to give you everything. We said, okay, give me. And they're receiving it. But as we're receiving, we said, wait a second. It's great that I have all of this light inside of me, us, but it's not manifest. I don't feel the joy. I don't feel the manifestation of eternal bliss. I know I have it. I know it's there in potential. I know I'm capable, but I don't experience it. So we created this world. The physical universe is a creation of humanity, yes, using the power of the light, right? It's not, we have no power to create except what the light gave us. So we created this world. Why? Just to act like the light all the time and not like the vessel. The vessel is, I want. Some of you who were children, you don't remember, but some of you who had children, what's the very nature of a child? Child at 6 months, are they saying, here, mom and dad, let me help you. Let me share you. Let me do the dishes for me. Let me take care of you. Or is a child saying, give me, take care of me, feed me, take care of me, change my diaper, give me what I want, make me stop crying, right? Me, me, me. Now here comes the glitch. A teenager. Same thing. Give me, give me, give me. Let's be honest. Honest. However old you are, is there not still that part? Give me. I want to have joy, happiness. I want all this stuff. I want everyone to like me. I want to be in the right place at the right time, members of the right groups, living in the right place, wearing the right clothes, driving the right car. I want. It's our inherent nature. But we also have, and that's the part that we emphasize here in the center. The whole wisdom of Kabbalah is emphasizing it. We have the light of the Creator in us already. We do not have to get happiness. We have to take the light of happiness and express it out. Because if you don't express it out, you can't see it. Right here in this room, invisible television waves. Yes or yes? Well, some of you still think, no, I'm going to take the other option, right? They're invisible. Why can't we watch the television then? Because there's no vessel / called a television receiver that will receive those invisible waves and make them manifest in the television or in the computer. You following me? So the same way, we're filled with the light of the Creator, but if you don't project it out, it doesn't become manifest for you. So that's all we came here to do. So then the first thing we did when we came out of the endless world, where did we end up? Bible story, Garden of Eden. What was the Garden of Eden? Peace, harmony, love. It was bliss, paradise, right? Think of what you imagine. Do you imagine the Garden of Eden with discord, fighting, anger, jealousy, anything like that? Bad weather, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, things like that? No. Paradise. Just happy all the time. That was it. But here's why we came down here. In order to express our light, we had to still be, let's call it, tempted to want, to get, to take. Like I shared a little bit before we went on with some new people here, if you create a video game and you want to enjoy the video game, do you create just the good guys or do you create opponents? You don't say, well, I'm creating this video game and some nasty person out there injected an opponent into my video game. No, if you want to make it a fun, challenging, and fulfilling game that you'll feel victorious, You have to have an opponent that you can beat. Yes? So when we created the Garden of Eden, a microcosm, let's call it, of the upper world, of the heaven of heavens, we also had to put in the two aspects that we call light and vessel. In the endless, we were pure. We understood. We were just there to be channels of the light of the Creator. But in creating this world, how does it show up? We brought the tree of life. What does that mean now? You know, if you think of the Bible, the tree of life, what does it mean? We're already alive. We already technically had immortal life because we are the first iteration of the Creator out of the endless world. Like we read from Karen, the flawless universe. So the tree of life is where there's all clarity, all answers, all purity, all bliss. But we had to create the opponent, the challenger that we planted in our head that says, no, be egocentric, be egotistical, right? React the same way, show them they can't take you, beat you or take over for you or whatever. And that's called the tree of knowledge, good and evil. The tree of life, flawless universe, perfection, harmony, unity, love among all 8.5 billion people. Tree of knowledge, they give us the name, good and bad. So look at the world today. Health, sickness, happy, sad, harmony, fighting. That's the good and bad. That was the choice we had in the Garden of Eden. And if you know the story, and it's a simple story, what did we do? You and me, don't say that was Adam and Eve. There's only been one of us since the endless world. So Adam and Eve are us. Moses, Jacob, Isaac, all the people in the Bible are us. They are us. They're not them. Not even thousands of years ago, them. They're us because there's only one of us. So you and me as Adam and Eve, what did we do? Where do you hear the opponent? So in the Bible, it's called the snake, which is not even the real translation, but okay, they call it the snake. The snake talking. You ever seen a talking snake? And that's why people read the Bible. Oh, talking snake. Pfft, what is this stuff? Right? But the snake talked to Adam and Eve. God knows everything. You want to be like God. That's why we came down here, which is true. We came down here to be like the light, share our light. Not try and share our light so it's manifest. So here, the tree of knowledge, good and evil. That's everything. So if you want to be like God, you got to know everything because God must know good and bad also. So we ate of the tree of knowledge, good and evil. And from that moment forward, we created death, pain, suffering, and chaos. We chose it. So now you say, oh, look at them. They made a bad decision. Okay, but look at us. What do we do on a daily basis? This is the coded part. Every time somebody does something that pushes your button, you're Adam and Eve looking at the two trees, hearing the voice of that snake was the voice of that opponent, telling you, they're being nasty, be nasty and show them that you're better than them. You understand? That's the voice of the snake. And then what do? We choose the tree of knowledge, good and evil. They scream, we scream. They're resentful, we're resentful. Right? Whatever they fight, we fight. Whatever it may be, we just respond the same way. So every minute of every day, we have the same choices. But you have to pause in that moment. Your button's pushed. It's the most valuable thing they can teach you. From Kabbalah 1 to Kabbalah 345. Pause once your button is pushed because then you can be conscious. Then you can be unlike we did as Adam and Eve and give into the tree of knowledge, good and evil. We can pause and say, no, I don't want to choose the world of chaos. I can jettison myself out. I can elevate myself out of the world of good and bad by behaving like the light instead of giving into the same thing this person just did. Are we clear on that? Simple. Two choices, our choice. They had their choice. They made their choice because they said or did what they did. We have to make our choice now. Okay, let's see if I can remember. The East Coast, my parents said, I grew up in California near the beach. So they said, if your friend jumps off the pier, you're going to follow them. So someone told me, no, on the East Coast, it's if your friend jumped out the 4th floor window, would you follow them? Right? And of course, we all say no. It's a stupid thing to do. But every time they behave in an angry way, we behave in an angry way, we're jumping out the 4th floor balcony with them. Every time they're being, egotistical and we're acting egotistical, we're just jumping out the 4th floor balcony with them. Kind of stupid. Let them fall. Okay, I don't have to fall. We have that opportunity. And that's all we came here to do. Simple. And every time we do that, we fill our lives with the manifestation of greater love, peace, kindness, harmony, protection, all the good stuff. All the good stuff, because it's already ours. It doesn't belong to anybody else. We have our piece, you have your piece, everyone on earth. The only issue is letting it shine out instead of trying to get from the other person. That's it. That's why you came here. So down here, that's it. Use our free will. But when do you get to use your free will? Somebody pushes your anger button. Pause. If you don't pause, you're just going to do the same thing you did the last 100 times. Because it's already what they'll call, let's call it the non-spiritual muscle memory. Right? They were angry. You screamed at them out of your anger. And you felt good. Why? Because they backed off. Then the next time somebody pushes your button of anger because they're acting in an angry way, you say, oh, unconsciously say, well, the last time I screamed at somebody like that, they also backed off and gave me my way. So scream at them again. So if we don't pause to think, pause to be conscious, then we're just going to do the same thing. So you and I are learning, pause. Yes, I'm feeling angry. Never deny your feelings. Your feelings are a sign of what you have to fix. I mean, think about it. You made a bad decision in life. What do you have to do? You have to fix it. Sometimes we don't even realize it. Okay. Yes, okay. So every now and then when I make my coffee, right, I put the stove on low and then I put the coffee on there to brew whatever. And every now and then I'll take the coffee off, all right, and I'll forget. Till an hour later, I'll look back at the oven or, the stove and it's still on. Still on low. I go, oh, what an idiot. Why did I do that? Why? Unconsciously, I was distracted, right? Maybe I'm in a hurry. Maybe I'm thinking, oh, I have to do something else over there in the sink. So I forget to turn it off. So if I make that mistake, what do I have to do? Even an hour later, I have to fix the mistake. So every bad decision we make, every bad action we do, consciously, otherwise, with bad intent or not intent, but we do it, we have to fix it. So too. So we did something out of anger. So the universe has to show us again, hey, you have anger, someone will push your button, you pause and say, no, I'm going to send the light of compassion and ask my soul, what should I do to follow up with an action of compassion? But at least just take the light out of your heart and start sending it in the frame of compassion to that person and through them to the rest of you, 8.5 billion people out there. Somebody pushes your jealous button. Right? They got what you want. You're looking at them. Why did they get it? I want to have it. It's not fair. Whatever. You just push your jealous button. You can act jealous. And Karen used to make fun of jealousy as probably the stupidest reactive behavior we could do. Because let's say if you scream and yell and they back off, you got something. Right? You got something that even for 2 seconds felt good. But a person who expresses their jealousy of somebody else, what do they walk away with? They walk away with the bad feeling of being jealous. They don't even have anything good for a second. It's just like the stupidest. You follow? You felt bad out of jealousy and you act in jealousy and you still feel bad. Because jealousy in and of itself is the effect of being jealous. Okay, so how do? You pause. I'm feeling jealous, yes. What's the antidote to remove the darkness of my jealousy? Gratitude and appreciation. Grateful for my blessings, grateful that they have blessings, happy for their good. When I walk away less stressed, more happy, more peace. What do I want to do? Should I walk away as jealous as them? Make the rest of my day miserable? No, that's my choice. I want to have a happier day. So pause. The other side, something pushes your guilt button. And of course, none of you have any guilt left, I understand. So when guilt pushes my button, right, or some of those out here online, you pause and you say, what, I feel guilty. Okay, I spilled something on the floor, I feel guilty. What do? Wipe it up. Go apologize. Send the energy of apology. That's all. You remove darkness with light. It's the simplest thing we can teach. And it's one of the most simple examples you can see clearly in the physical world. Since some of you are new and some of you online, 30 some odd years, I've heard it thousands, if not tens of thousands of times from my teachers, the Rav and Karen. You walk into a dark room, how do you get rid of darkness? Scream, yell? You show your bank account. Hey, darkness, look how much money I have in the bank. Look what my power position is. Look what I own. Look what I do. I don't care who you are, what you are. The only way to get rid of darkness is one thing. Turn on the light. So guilt is darkness. If I pause and I shine the light of apology, I'm in the light now. They want to stay in the darkness, stay in the darkness. I don't want to be in the darkness. You understand the idea? That's all it takes. When the button is pushed, let's say, of the ego. Oh, look at me. I did that wonderful thing. I am so great. Pause. Where's my humility? If I understand I'm only a vessel, right, only a conduit, then yes, I channeled the good thing, but it's me and the light. We're a partner. I didn't do it by myself. The light gave me capabilities. I expressed that capability, and this nice thing happened. So have humility about it. That's what I want to have. Not ego, I'm better than somebody else, like that. So this is, because otherwise if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, you ever wonder why things sort of go in like a landslide? You know, once things start down the bad course, they'll tend to get worse and worse and worse and worse. Now you understand why. Okay. If you have another example, share with me, but this is the easiest one for me. If you go into the supermarket and you charge $100 on the grocery, and now you don't charge anything else for the rest of the month, what bill will you get at the end of the month? $100, right? Because that's what you charge. But if 2 days later you go into a grocery store and another store and you charge another $100, what's your bill going to be now? 200 means you got to pay now 200 instead of 100. And you keep adding to the bill. At the end of the month, the bill adds up. So every time we make that bad decision to be reactive, the spiritual bill gets bigger. So that's why we do a little action of impatience. The next thing you know, they're pushing a button that's twice as impatient. And if we act with impatience then they're pushing the button the next time 3 times as much. You follow the idea? It's an exact system. And that's why, as the saying goes, things for some will tend to go from bad to worse. Not because the universe is against us, but because we keep adding more debt to our spiritual bill by just reacting the same way, acting like the vessel, not like the light. And the only reason we came here was to act like the light. So that's it. We got to just think in those moments. Pause. I want to be like the light. I have it in me. I'm capable. All I have to do is draw on what's inside me. Think of anything you've done in life since you were a teenager. Okay, let's not say anything, but, some nice things. You drew from what's inside, Like as a parent, I looked at my kids and I look and say, what is their capability? Right? Because I want to give them what they're good at, in essence, what we used to call their God-given ability. So if you have one kid that's good in sports and one is good in science, are you going to give the one in science mentoring for sports? No, you want to give them mentoring in science and make more manifest what's already inside them. The one that has sports ability, you give them sports mentoring, so you draw more of what's inside out, so they benefit, they feel good, the world around them feels good, etc. So what more can we do? The Creator put the light of the Creator inside of us. Absolute bliss, our personal piece of the Garden of Eden. He's inside of us. It's not out there. But you want to see it and live in it, you got to live into it out there. By replacing the anger with compassion, hatred with love, greed with generosity, ego with humility, all those things. That's how you do it. That's how you create for you your piece of the Garden of Eden, even if other people still not living there. I can live in the Garden of Eden no matter who, what, when, or where around me. But the nice part is, since like will attract like, the more of us who create and manifest that Garden of Eden and live in it, the more other people are going to start to see it and want. At least that way, if you want to call it, it's jealousy in a good way. They see you in the Garden of Eden, then they know they're going to have to replace their anger with compassion and their greed with generosity and their ego with humility to have the same thing you've got. That's the best way to use jealousy, if you want to call it jealousy, in that way. But that's what we have to understand. Now, one thing to keep in mind also, which if you didn't learn about the endless world and that pure, absolute, perfect beginning, or even let's call it the Garden of Eden in this world, if you don't think perfection exists, then all bets are off. There's no chance to live a totally fulfilled life. So I want to make emphasis for you. It's an absolute guarantee that we will all return to the Garden of Eden. There's no way anyone, and I know right now you're thinking, well, that person can't. They're going to live in hell the rest of their life because they did those dastardly things. Everybody being a piece of the light of the Creator has to ultimately reveal that light. So sure, on the outside, people can do even horrific things, but on the inside, they're still pure light beings. That's why our job is to awaken the light in them and not add to their negativity. Hatred does not get rid of hatred. Anger will not get rid of anger. Resentment will not get rid of resentment. No darkness can get rid of darkness. Only light can get rid of darkness. We all know it in the physical world, but what about in the human world? The same thing. Otherwise, how come after thousands of years there's still hatred and violence? Because how did we get rid of hatred and violence 99% of the time? With hatred and violence. We fought a justified war against those nasty people. Well, what do you think they said to commit the war in the first place? Who were they committing war against in their mind? Nice people? Look, there's some really nice, loving, kind people out there. Let's go wipe them out. No, in their mind's eye, in their blocked consciousness, whoever they committed war on were people who were not nice people. Of course, then it woke up the same thing in the other ones, and we're going to beat them also by beating them up. Now, please don't misconstrue it. I know some of you are new. I am never meaning you cannot defend yourself against violence. You are allowed, but consciousness is everything. So if one defends themselves with anger, hatred, it's just going to perpetuate. If you ask a truly great martial artist, somebody who's like whatever, 4th, 5th, 6th degree black belt kind of thing, if you ask them, they will tell you, everyone I've ever asked in 40 years in the center have said the same thing. Once they get hit, if they take it personal, their skill level drops a number of belts. Because once they've taken it personal, it's about getting, not sharing. So yes, as funny as it may sound, a person who needs to physically defend themselves can hit somebody else with the light to stop them from ultimately creating more spiritual debt for them, and also to stop them from hurting other people. But not because they hit me or they're attempting to hit me, because I want to protect the rest of me in the 8.5 billion bodies from that kind of attack. So then, yes, I will defend myself. You follow? And you can't even sue somebody out of the light to stop them from cheating other people, but not because they cheated me. Because I've come to understand whatever comes my way, whether this life or a past life, is something I've done to someone similar. So I just want to pay my debt. Now I'm free and clear. I don't want to keep adding to my debt. So we're learning here in the center, there's an absolute guarantee to get back to the Garden of Eden. Absolute. But, as maybe you're inferring now, there's two ways. There's what's called the way of judgment or the way of mercy. You look at the world, they're basically in the path of judgment, meaning they got to be hit over and over and over and over again, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, in their business, in their health or something. They got to keep being beaten until they wake up and realize think how old you are, and if you can calculate real quick, approximately how many days you've lived. And figure out, in all those days of your life, who's the only common factor in every situation you've ever encountered? The only one.
Me.
Exactly. Me, myself, and I'm the only common factor. So people can say, like I've heard, well, they had 12 relationships and every one of them cheated on them. They had 12 employers and everyone took advantage of them, and this, that, and other thing. But the only common person is me. So like I told one years ago, either the universe, either God had a conspiratorial meeting before you were born that said everybody should go out and attack you. It's either that, or you're attracting the same thing over and over again because you're not changing your behavior. And if like attracts like, so if you cheat, they're going to cheat. If you're angry, they're going to be angry. If you're blaming them, they're going to blame you. Hello? It's simple. Simple. So that's the work. So you can either go the way of judgment, or what the center's teaching us is how to jump into voluntary transformation, the way of mercy. In other words, don't wait for a challenge to come your way. Don't wait for the bill. Okay, don't take it too physically, but don't wait for the credit card bill to come. Pay it ahead. Don't wait for the late fee and then pay it. Pay it before when it's due. So we're learning with all the tools, all the wherewithal. You have the tools, you have the support, you have the community. That's why the Rav and Karen created Kabbalah centers. So people could unite in unity. They could have the tools. Most of you know the most powerful one is the Zohar. Just shines the light of God. Simple. Simple, just radiates the light. So you have the tools, you have the technology, you have the support, you have the community. We have every way, shape, and form, but it's still up to us. Are we living into our potential, or are we kind of happy to stay where we are? And the sad part of that is if you try and stay where you are, somehow something in the world around you is going to kick you in the rear end to get you to move forward. Because if you already have 100%, you can't stop at 80. If you already have 100%, you can't stop at 95. If you already have 100% inside, you can't stop at 99. 100 is 100. And that's where we have to go. So the center's giving us ways and means to do that. So it's simple. The center was created just to bring this wisdom, this understanding to every human being on earth. And of course, that opponent that we create is going to try and fight it. The first most fundamental thing it did, although it's not so much anymore out there, but there's still most people think that, the Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. It belongs to the Jews. So if you're not Jewish, it doesn't matter for you. Sure, it's like saying, the iOS system doesn't belong to you if you have an Apple phone because you have a 25 and somebody else only has the 3. You understand? No, it's a universal system. It's a universal system. So yes, and I will be very open with you, maybe hope not to scare you too much, but it is the most difficult system there is. But it's the most powerful because it can get us to 100% with mercy. Why is it difficult? Because like you heard, when I'm feeling angry, I have to pause, which is not easy itself, just to pause in the midst of my anger, and then not only pause in the midst of it, but actually act with kindness or forgiveness or tolerance, shining the light from my heart and soul out to that person. That's what makes it difficult. But the greater the effort, the greater reward, because it's an exact system. Right? You work at a job that makes $10 an hour, what do you expect to be paid? $10 an hour. You get a job that pays $200 an hour, what do you expect to be paid? $200. You follow? But you can't be in a job that pays $10 and expect to get 20, 30, 40, 50. So you can't do an action, an effort of sharing one level of discomfort, right? The uncomfortable act of being more a little kind to that person who pushed my button a little bit. Okay, you put 10 units of effort into it, you get 10 units of light in return. The nastiest people in your life, where you can really pause, and now you can even just think, I'm sending them light of forgiveness. I'm sending them light of tolerance. Okay, but if they're the nastiest person, if they're a million pieces of light worth of your anger and your resentment, and you're sending them a little piece, you're getting a million pieces back. How much is a million pennies? Oh, good. Mathematician. 10,000. So if you knew for throwing a penny of forgiveness or kindness to that person who did the nasty thing of a million, you were getting 10,000 back, would it be worth it to you? Yes, thank you. Yes, okay, great. I didn't think it was a silly question, right? But you understand, to get 10,000 for a penny? Of course. So you understand, that's what we're learning in the center, and the tools help us have the strength to do that. But that's all the center is created. Bring every person into unity, peace, and harmony. Give everybody the tools and the capability and the support to do that. You're not in it alone. Even to keep in your mind, 8.5 billion people right now have light in their soul that you can access. You want to talk about the good side of hacking? Hack into the soul of every human being on earth and access the light of God that belongs to you in their soul. Don't hack to take from them. Hack to awaken the light in them while they're now also connecting you to more of the light of your soul. That's the best way. And you do that, then what's going to happen? Then we can all see more clearly. Every human being, if the Creator is good, could only create good people, could only create a good earth, could only create perfection. The only reason we don't see perfection is our eyes don't see like the eyes of our heart. The eyes of your heart see the perfection in you and everybody else. These physical eyes, no. Look at an optical illusion. Easiest way to say you can't see 100% clearly with these eyes. An optical illusion means your eyes are being fooled. No or yes? Yes. Thank you. Okay. So if they can be fooled with an optical illusion, how much more with the world? You see that person, they're doing a nasty thing. Oh, nasty person. No, like the Kabbalists say, then you just gave a bad name to the Creator. Because if the Creator's perfect, can only create perfection. Our free will is given us the ability temporarily not to do perfect things. But in the end of the story, the difficulty, the pain and suffering of those nasty things will eventually make us change. So the beauty of the center is how we can now voluntarily do that which will put us into the Garden of Eden now. Why do we have to wait for more pain and suffering? Wake up! Live into your Garden of Eden. Live into your greatest love, kindness, compassion, generosity, humility, forgiveness, tolerance. Live into your potential now. Already get into your piece of the Garden of Eden, and then you can start to bring everybody else with you. And all it takes is that pause and consciousness. Share the light. It's a simple formula. Pause, shine light. Pause, shine light. Can I make it any simpler? I didn't say easy, because we know it's not easy. But the more, like anything else, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. The more you'll be able to do it. And then the lesser debt you'll be owing. Every time you can pause and share light, you start to see and experience more of your Garden of Eden. You start to see the good in other people. And like anything else, if you see the good in people and act with good towards people, you ultimately will awaken the good in them. We hear those stories. Okay, there was a student in Israel in the center who was in that unfortunate, you know what, that happened. I don't know what I can say or not. I've had things stopped. But she was in that. She was part of that. But she looked at these people who came in to do the horrible things that they had done elsewhere, and she started to treat them with love and kindness, offered them food, this and that, with love, and they left her alone. Now, some of you thinking, because of that AI program we put there, oh, well, 1 in a million. No, if one person can do it, everyone can do it. There was one, because we need to see validation. And there was one case a few years back, and to be very honest with you, I don't know if I could have done that at this point. There was a shooting in the Amish country here. Some guy went in to an elementary school, like kindergarten, 5 and 6-year-olds, and shot and killed 26 kids. When he was in the trial and he was sentenced, I believe it was, to death, 26 sets of parents walked by him and was able to say, "We forgive you." If they can do it, we can do it. If you hear enough of these stories, you realize that it's not just one person. It's not the exception. It's the rule. We've made it look like the exception. You can't be nice to the terrible person. They'll take advantage of you. You can't let them walk all over you. It'll happen again. Show me anywhere in the universe where light is on that darkness can enter. When you can show me that, I might then believe that bad things can enter into the light. But it can't. As long as you're shining light, you're protected from all darkness. So nobody can walk all over you unless you haven't left them, or unless you've left them a pathway of darkness. Nobody can take advantage of you if you haven't left an opening that you've taken advantage either of yourself, which we could discuss that another time, or of other people. And it doesn't have to be major. It doesn't mean you have to have stolen, embezzled from them. But every now and then you say, how do you take advantage of a kid? Simple way. If you're a parent, you've probably done it a number of times. You're a little busy. Yeah, you bribe them. You're a little busy. You're with something, and especially when they're little. Mommy, Daddy, give me this and this. Here, take some money. Take a piece of candy. Go away. You're taking advantage of the kid. It's taking advantage of a kid. It's not horrendous. It's not evil. But you have to think it's taking advantage. So a person leaves that opening, then somewhere, somehow, people will take advantage of them. Like attracts like. There's no such thing as opposites attract. So may we understand and commit ourselves now in vision what Garden of Eden will look like for you. What does that mean to you? If you close your eyes and see the Garden of Eden, and we'll do that when we have our meditation on one of the 72 names, we'll do that in a few minutes. But if you envision what the Garden of Eden looks like to you, what it would mean: health, peace, love, joy, happy children, grandchildren, whatever it is, keep that in your mind, and you have to make that more valuable to you than the price you get or the reward you think you get for acting with that instant gratification of anger, fear, screaming, yelling, guilt, shame, whatever it is. When the value of the Garden of Eden is more valuable to the tree of knowledge, good and evil, the chaos of this world, then for sure you will always act that way. And the more of us do that and bring the Garden of Eden, the tree of life, into physical manifestation, the more people will be drawn to it, because it's in our heart and soul. So may we all have the blessing and the merit to be able to take this from right now in our brain, to let it flow down into our heart and awaken the perfection that's within us. So we have greater power and greater strength. We can awaken the perfection in every other human being. And like when you turn on the light, the darkness goes away in a second. The prophet Jeremiah said that the chaos and pain and suffering in the world can disappear in the blink of an eye. May we have the blessing to, in our unity of you, me, and all the students of the center, transform that last piece of light from darkness to light, that last piece of chaos back into order, that everybody will be able to see with the eyes of their heart and feel in their heart the Garden of Eden is waiting for them, just to do that next action, and that last action of greater love, kindness, and compassion towards all human beings. God bless. So as most of you know, this is it's a free will offering, but we do certainly appreciate your support to help us finish the job. We have the technology, we have all the ways and means. In fact, just to sort of update you, since the events back in October, we are at over 500,000 of these pocket Zohars being distributed with your generosity. In a whole year, the year before that, we barely made 100,000. So we know when there's pain and suffering or there's disasters, it wakes up people's love, kindness, and compassion, their desire to get rid of the chaos. So we just want to spread so much Zohar out there and teach so much of this wisdom that everybody will see the benefit of acting like the light, and then they'll want to just be like the light all the time. And so it's with your generosity and your love, which is why we take this moment to just meditate on the offering. So those of you here, those of you online, I'm going to put the link. I'll try and put the link. There we go. Okay. And whatever you can give, it's free will. We just take a moment, because we know money is energy, or money is a vessel that contains energy, and where that energy goes depends on us. So we want it first and foremost to put our appreciation and our gratitude for everything the Creator's given us, for all that we've been able to achieve, overcome, and appreciate the fact we have a greater, more clear consciousness of the oneness of humanity, the interconnectedness of every human being. And therefore, we have greater love and desire to enlighten every person on earth through the awakening of their soul. And therefore, we inject this offering with love, with light, that through the spread of the Zohar and this wisdom, we bring greater unity, peace, oneness to be manifest in the physical world by awakening the light of the Creator in every person on earth. And we know that by being the cause for the enlightenment of 8.5 billion people, we have a return of blessings, of light in all its forms. Peace, love, protection, harmony, health, 8.5 billion times in return. And together we say, Amen. So those of you who are unfamiliar, what you see in front of you are three, you could call them Hebrew letters, Aramaic letters, but they're actually particles of the light of the Creator. They're just a portal. They're a conduit from the endless world into this world. Or you could think of them as photons of the light of God. So they just shine light. They're primordial. They existed from the Big Bang. Nobody created them. Nobody made them up. They're a way to activate the light in our soul. Because this is our spiritual DNA. The same way everybody has a physical DNA that's the same. The combinations determine how we look, what our capabilities, etc. The same. The energy that shines out of what they call the Aramaic letters or Hebrew letters, the combinations are determining our spiritual DNA, because light is made up of these when they show up in the physical world. So in this case, the Yud Zayin Lamed, as you see, is connecting us to awaken heaven on earth, our piece of the Garden of Eden. And let it be that simple. 21st century, it's easy to understand that just simply by scanning. If you think about eyes as the windows to the soul, you go to the grocery store, think of the three things involved in checking out your groceries. You've got the barcode on the item, you have the scanning eye that they cross the barcode with, and then you have the computer inside that is activated by that barcode through the eye. So we have the infinite light of God inside of us that's already perfection, just some of it is hibernating. You have our eyes, which are the windows to the soul, and then you have the barcode, in this case Yud Zayin Lamed. So just by looking at it, those shapes emanate a certain frequency of energy that activate a greater level of our sense of heaven on earth, desire for heaven on earth, and therefore greater actions of transformation from whatever our reactive behavior is to proactive behavior. So just let it be that simple. Don't let that parasite in your head make you think, well, I don't understand, I don't know the names, it can't work, etc. All you have to do is think in the physical world. You ever eat food? Nobody here. Richard doesn't eat, but the rest of you eat? How many of you have to sit after you eat and actually tell your body how to tear the food apart, where to send what parts of the food to the different parts of your body to nourish it, and then get rid of the extra? Do you do that? Or you just eat, chew, hopefully, swallow, and then you let your body take over, yes? So why is that any different than this? You're just inputting through your eyes this particular frequency of the light of the Creator, total and absolute bliss, heaven on earth, and you're letting it activate in your soul. Your soul knows how to nourish and empower you and give you the thoughts and ideas that you need to manifest. Let it be that simple. Don't let the other side get you. It's simple. We see in the physical world, we do it all the time. Why is the spiritual world less? Spiritual world is the cause. So if we can do it in the physical, how much more power do we have to do it in the spiritual? So just let it be. Let me make sure they're saying Yud Zayin Lamed. Yud Zayin Lamed. Okay, so look at it, engrave the image in your mind, and then if I can ask you to sit comfortably in your seat, hands on your lap, feet on the floor. Just begin to relax. Relax into the light of the Creator that's in you and around you. Take a deep breath, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through the mouth. In through the nose. Hold your breath for a moment. Exhale through the mouth. That you're consciously allowing the flow of the air, which carries the light of the Creator, to not only keep you alive physically, but to activate a greater amount of the light in every cell of your being. And exhaling, removing the false ideas, the limited thoughts, the influence of that adversary, that opponent in your head. And let yourself feel the warmth and the vibration of this infinite light of the Creator. Feel it awakening in a new level inside you. Feel yourself enveloped, wrapped in the unconditional love of the light. And in this relaxation, breathing as you normally breathe, envision the Yud Zayin Lamed just above your head. See these three particles of light shining, vibrating with unconditional love and shining the pure light of the Creator. Yud Zayin Lamed. And let's slowly allow this Yud Zayin Lamed, the power of heaven on earth, enter through the top of your head, shining its light, activating the light consciousness inside you. That the mind, which is the light, is being activated. And in the brain, where the battle between the voice of your soul and the voice of the opponent takes place, the light, the added light you're awakening, is shutting down more and more of the voice of the opponent and allowing you greater clarity and connection and hearing the voice of your soul. This is your opportunity to ask for help and support, clarity and guidance from the voice of your soul, activated with the Yud Zayin Lamed, for clarity in a chaotic or confusing situation in your life now. Ask with an open heart for guidance, inspiration, clarification of the situation. And therefore the right direction, the right actions to take to bring the light out of the darkness and the order out of the chaos of that situation. Listen to the voice of your soul. Record what it tells you. Commit yourself to follow up with the actions that it's showing you. Now allow the Yud Zayin Lamed to travel through the rest of your body, from the head to the toe, activating the heaven on earth, peace of the Creator's light inside every cell of your being, the spiritual and the physical cells. Bringing the light to be the control system within you. Feel the tingling of that light as it travels from head to toe. That greater sense of peace, serenity, trust and certainty in the light. Acknowledge your appreciation to the light of the Creator and the light as it's channeled through you with the support of the Yud Zayin Lamed, the guidance and the clarity that you've received. And now let's send that beam of light of heaven on earth, Yud Zayin Lamed, out from our heart and soul to the heart and soul of 8.5 billion people, everyone on the planet, to awaken the Creator inside them, to awaken their sense, their consciousness, their experience of that light. And now we can see the entire world surrounded in light, filled with love, unity, peace, harmony. And together we take one more deep breath to cement and anchor this inspiration, this power inside of us. And as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes. Those of you here, thank you for joining us. Those of you online, thank you for being with us. Have an amazing week. Just have a great day, have a great week, and God bless. Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, click the subscribe button so you'll be notified of future videos as we post them. Would also love to hear your comments and questions, whether it's about this video in particular or about the wisdom of Kabbalah as we teach it in the Kabbalah Center. If you'd like to learn more about various subjects, go to our website, www.kabbalah.com. We have thousands of articles and classes on various subjects within the wisdom of Kabbalah. Share this video with other people. If you were inspired and it can change your life, let's start changing thousands and thousands of people's lives around the world also. If you'd like to contribute in support of Spiritual Sunday and the projects of the Kabbalah Center, that link is also below. I wish you an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be out there, and may God bless us all that we awaken the light of the Creator, not only inside us to a higher level, but touching the heart and soul of every human being on earth with the light of the Creator.